Well, hello everyone. I'm Blair Bryant with the Steller Group.
And I'm Emily Lomborg.
And today we're here for our April 2021 market update.
We're a little bit of a broken record.
Yes, we kind of feel like this video becomes the same thing every single time, with inventory being at record lows.
Exactly. Month over month, we keep reporting that this is the lowest inventory on record. And once again, March 2021, the stats show us that lowest inventory on record.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this past month, we ended at 1,921 homes on the market at the end of March, which represents the single lowest amount of inventory ever. And then on top of that, we saw prices jump year over year on detached family homes. Ready for this? 19.3% year over year, closing at a record $674,990 for your average home price in Denver.
Yeah. So I think the question at this point is, what is it like for a buyer or a seller that are trying to navigate this market?
Right. I mean, I think one of the things that Emily and I were talking about is, great, all these stats are just wild, they're crazy. What is it actually like as a buyer or a seller out in the market? And, you know, as I'm talking to family members, I'm talking to colleagues, these are the stories we share. And we wanted to share two stories with you, real stories from this market, and how buyers are dealing with this and how sellers are dealing with this. Tell me about a buyer that has gone through this crazy market.
So I was talking with one of our buyer agents earlier today. First of all, I think one of the big advantages to our team is we have a dedicated team of solely buyer agents.
Right.
All they do every day is work with buyers. They're out in the market, they're showing homes, and they are on the forefront, and they're truly experts in what's happening in the market for buyers today and how you negotiate for buyers today in this market. So he was telling me a little bit about a client that he recently worked with. He actually met them a couple years ago, started the home search with them. They had to, for their own reasons, kind of tap the brakes and put a little bit of a pause on their home search.
Which is how it works with a lot of people, right?
Yeah, you start out and then something happens in life and you're like, oop, I gotta wait a year.
Right.
That's kind of what they did. And about 9 months ago, they got going again. Well, as we all know, just from watching these market updates over the last 9 months, it's been a crazy seller's market, really low inventory, really challenging for buyers.
Right.
So they started in just with patience and persistence. Those are my two words today for buyers, patience and persistence. They started in on the home search. And over the course of 9 months, they made 11 offers on 9 different homes.
Right. So 11 offers on 9 different homes. So obviously multiple offers on some of those homes, right?
A couple times they came in twice. They maybe weren't the highest offer, and then they liked it enough that they went back and they resubmitted. That means, let's see, I said 11 offers. That means 10 times they lost. Patience and persistence. But they knew they wanted to buy a home. They knew it was the right time for them to be doing this, and they stayed the course. And they were working with an agent who was really guiding them through the process. And eventually, the 11th time, they won.
Right.
And they since then have gone through the contract and the home buying process. They've closed. They are homeowners. And again, it's just they were willing to stick it out. They were willing to not get discouraged and know that the right thing eventually was going to happen. And through all 11 offers, they truly believe they are now in the best spot for them. They're so thrilled with the house they ended up
Everything happens for a reason, right? And I think one of the things I hear over and over again, well, I don't want to engage a buyer's agent until, you know, I have the house picked out, I'm ready to make an offer on that house. And I think in this market, you couldn't have any better resource than a buyer's agent who's going to work with you on what kind of offer do we need to put in?
Exactly.
You know, what is the seller looking for?
Yeah, I mean, now more than ever, the importance of the buyer agent.
Yeah,
it's huge, because there are a lot of negotiation techniques that are happening right now, and people are putting different clauses in their contracts to make them the most desirable. And quite honestly, we're hearing repeatedly the relationship that the buyer agent forms with the listing agent, letting them know, I'm a professional, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to be here every step of the way, I want this to be a win-win transaction, I'm going to have really clear, open communication. That right there sometimes is the difference maker in when one deal is picked over another.
And so on the sell side, one of the success stories I have is a woman I was working with who was looking to go to one of the 55 plus communities here in town. And the big stresses on folks like that is the fact that they're going to go from a fixed mortgage. She had some money remaining on her mortgage, and moving into a 55 plus community where there was an entry fee, had to pay some money to get in.
Right.
And then on top of that, they also were going to be paying monthlies. And so we ran the numbers back in November on what her house would potentially sell at. And at that time, it was around $425 for a townhome here in Centennial. And we ran the numbers. I sat down with her. We worked through an entire settlement estimate, which we do. And it was tight, but it looked like it would work. Now with this house, the other thing I wanted to point out is one of the things we do as a group, Steller Renovation Solutions, is prepare homeowners. And typically we're putting between $5,000 and $8,000 worth of work into people's houses to get ready, whether it be paint, carpet.
That's what I was going to say.
As we got into this February, March, I said, you know what, I don't think it's actually as necessary. We're going to be pretty minimal. We put about $2,500 worth of work into it. So over the course of an entire weekend, we received 11 offers on this property. And I had to sort through not only what were the highest offers, by the way, we ended up listing at about $430.
Okay.
And as offers rolled in, I had a cash offer at $430,000 right there at the beginning.
Okay.
And it was a great offer, something I presented to her. But we said, let's let the market do its thing, because that price point was extremely active.
Right, there's not that much.
Right, so we ended up with 3 offers at the top that offered a little bit above $500,000 on it, and we were able to sit down and look at what were the best terms, what was the best financing, who offered the best on appraisal, who offered the best on inspection.
Right.
That was about a month ago, and we're set to close this week at $505,000.
It's not always about the highest price, though, right?
Right.
I mean, sellers are looking at the entire offer.
Right. Right. And so the great news is that once we went under contract, we had an ease of transition because we had a wonderful buyer lined up. We had other buyers lined up behind them if that buyer became difficult.
And I think that is a key to the story too, is becoming that backup buyer. Be willing to be that backup buyer. In the story I told earlier, and I meant to mention this, that the house they ultimately ended up buying, they had put a backup offer on. They weren't the first offer picked.
They
incredible. Put a backup in, and the first buyer walked away within a few days, and they automatically went into first position without it opening up to the whole public again and renegotiation and everything else. You just go straight in. So I think that's another big tip to buyers. Don't be afraid to become a backup buyer.
Right.
And to sellers, encourage backup buyers.
Yeah, it's an extremely emotional process. We understand a lot of you are contemplating selling a house right now. Some of you are contemplating, should I stay in the market as a buyer? Yeah. We're here to offer you advice. I think the cool thing on Emily's story to end this is that our buyer's agent was working with that buyer for 3 years. And that's fine. That's what we're here for.
Stay the course,
stay the course. Yeah. We'll see you to the end, and we'll see you next month, probably with some more success stories. If you'd like to check out some more on the market, the stats, what's driving our market right now, click on the link below for a link to our blog and some stat updates.